I'm back with my biggest challenge yet. One that absolutely terrifies me. 228 kilometers on hard terrain. 9,000 feet of climbing at altitude. This is going to be my longest ride ever. I'm going to be taking part in the Steamboat Gravel Race. As you may know, my niche was track cycling. I took part in races like the Team Pursuit and bunch races, which varied from just over 4 minutes long to 20 minutes. So a 228 kilometre gravel race, well, it's a little bit different. No smooth velodrome, just gnarly gravel. So since retiring from professional cycling 2 years ago, I've naturally been riding my bike less and less. And after many years of hating myself and dedicating myself to riding a bike every day, twice a day, I was ready for a good break. And while I only really get on my bike when I want to, and it's usually at a very slow pace to the cafe and back when it's not raining, and that's not very often in the UK, but it's fair to say I've lost a fair bit of fitness, and well, that's okay. I don't need to win bike races anymore, and I just love riding my bike, and I still love challenging myself. Since joining the team here at GCN, I've been lucky enough to try lots of different disciplines. I've tried road cycling, mountain biking, and gravel riding. And I have really taken to this gravel riding stuff. But now, it's time for my biggest gravel challenge yet. In August, I'm going to be taking part in my toughest, longest challenge yet. 228 kilometres of the Steamboat Gravel Race. And this is definitely going to be a challenge for someone who has only ridden round in circles for around 4 kilometres. So yeah, it's going to be a long way. It's actually 57 team pursuits back to back. But how am I going to turn my ability to ride for 4 minutes into 8 hours? Maybe 10 hours. I also have a full-time job, and yes, before you say anything, being a GCN presenter is a full-time job, and I don't have 3+ hours a day to go and train and ride my bike. And I also do a lot of traveling with my job, so I don't always have my bike with me when I'm away on trips. Thankfully, I've got some professional help on board. The very kind people at Wahoo System are going to help me prepare for this event as best as I can with the very little time I have. And from right now, I think I have around 56 days until race day, and I haven't started training yet. So all my training leading up to the event is going to be done on the Wahoo System app. And for those of you who are unfamiliar with Wahoo System, it is a training app that you can create and tailor your own training plans. And I'm going to put all my details into this app now, and it's going to give me the best training plan for my event and for the time that I have. I do love having lots of different aspects in my training, and variety is definitely the spice of life. And so I've got my plan here, and I've got some quite big weeks, 10+ hours of training, but that does include the yoga and the strength and the mental training as well. But yeah, it's definitely gonna be a challenge, but now I've got my training plan, I know exactly what I need to do to be in the best possible shape in this event. Now that I have my training plan, I'm going to chat to one of the experts. I'm going to be chatting to Jeff, one of the Wahoo System coaches, and I want to find out a little bit more about my plan and how it's actually going to be possible to train for a very long event when I have very little time to actually train. Thanks so much, Jeff, for your time. First of all, is it actually going to be possible for me to ride an 8 to 10 hour event when I have, say, 8 to 10 hours in a whole week to actually train?
Great question. So yes, absolutely. And believe it or not, it's actually possible to do quite well in the event, depending on, how long the event is and what the demands are. But yeah, absolutely, we can do that.
So what are some of the key sessions that I need to really focus on that I'm going to see benefits from? Because obviously I can't go out and do, 5-6 hour rides.
Everybody comes in with a different story. Whether it's coming off the couch or coming from a racing background or coming from a recreational background. And not that we want to treat people necessarily differently, but we want to make sure that we find out what their strengths and weaknesses are and then kind of play off of those. Some of the key sessions are going to be around strength and cadence work and that kind of thing. So just going out and doing really long endurance rides is not really going to get you where you want to go.
Will I be able to get benefits from hour sessions, 2-hour sessions? What is that the least I can do to see the benefits?
So when we say what sessions are important, the answer is all of them. And it doesn't mean that there aren't key sessions, but we want to have diversity in here. So we want to make sure that we are working on your nervous system, your neuromuscular system, to be able to handle cadence changes and high torque efforts when you're going uphill, or, a quick spin when things change, as well as, some short, punchy climbs that might tax your VO2 or your anaerobic capacity.
When people think about training for an event like this, they will pretty much just focus on all the bike work. But how is, say, the strength training and the mental strength training going to help me towards this event?
Arguably, those are just as important. And here's why. In gravel racing, depending on the type of terrain. Now, Steamboat's actually quite nice. These are pristine roads, but there are some segments where you've got to be able to navigate your bike through loose gravel and some, trail single track sections and that kind of thing. So what we try to do with the mental training sessions that are in system is give you a little glimpse into what might be there during the ride, and then the strengths and the tools to deal with it when it happens.
I'm also going to be away with work for a week where I'm not going to have access to the bike. I'm going to be traveling around quite a lot. Is that week going to be a write-off, or is there still things that I can do and benefit from?
No, that's a really great question. And so the answer is you can still train. You may not be able to train on the bike, but this is a really good time to add in maybe a little bit more strength or yoga. So some of that cross training, especially the core sessions, you can do those every day. They're not super long. I think the shortest ones are like 13 minutes, and it just keeps things fresh. So taking advantage of that. Now, I wouldn't go overboard and do a big strength session every day to make up for it, but adding 1 or 2 extra sessions in is fine. And then, if you don't have the bike, if you're a runner, go for a short run. If you're not a runner, don't start running, but go for a walk, and just do something. On the flip side of that, if it fits with your program, that's a good time to take some time off. So look at where does that time line up, and I can go through this here in a moment with you to see when that lines up. And if it's a good time or it's really close to recovery time, shift workouts one way or the other and maximize that time by just taking some recovery.
Thank you so much for your time and your expertise today, Jeff. That has really been good to get an insight into my training. And I guess I'll let you know how I get on the other side.
I think you're going to do just fine.
Ribble also heard I'll be taking part in this epic gravel race, and they're going to help make it happen. And as part of that, they have sent me a brand new bike. This is the Ribble Gravel SL, an absolutely stunning bike that I cannot wait to get out on and ride. I just hope the bike is ready for an emotional journey with me, because it's not going to be easy. I'm not afraid to admit that this challenge really does scare me. I have no idea if I'm going to be able to finish, and I have never tried to ride this far on gravel before, so it's definitely going to be tough, but I'm going to give it one hell of a good crack. I will also be giving weekly updates on the GCN show on how my training is going leading up to the event. But if you do have any advice on how to help me survive this event, please drop them down in that comment section below, as I really do appreciate all the help I can get. And if you did enjoy this video, make sure to give it a big thumbs up. And now I'm off to start my training.